everybody, it's Helen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do the announcement video for a readathon I am hoping to do in February from the 1st to the 14th, so for 2 weeks, and it is called Platonicathon. And the reason it's called Platonicathon is because I wanted to look at platonic love, different types of love apart from romantic love. And the reason I've done that is because I am doing a year-long readathon. It's not so much a readathon, there's set prompts for Teen Books in the City, Simon & Schuster. There's a 42 prompt readathon throughout the year focusing on romantic fiction. So I'm already going to be reading a lot of romantic books this year. So I thought it might be fun just to come up with a few prompts that deal with other types of love and just wrap it up in a readathon. So if you want to take part, great. As always, if it's just me, that's fine too. So there are 5 prompts. So 5 books in 2 weeks. I think that's quite doable, or at least it is for me. So the first prompt is to read a book that focuses on family love. So here you're talking about mother and daughters, father and sons, grandparents, aunties, cousins, whatever family love there is. You could also include found family in this, whatever, they're very loose, whatever you want to fit it in, but family love. So that's the first one. The second one is a book focusing on the love in a friendship. So that's pretty self-explanatory. You know, you could look at school friendships or friendships as you grow older, or friendships that people develop in a care home, any kind of friendships there. So that's the second prompt. The third prompt is the love you have for a pet. So, you know, cat, dog, fish, tortoise, any pet, love for a pet. The fourth one is the love you have for a hobby. So obviously most of the people who watch this channel, and my hobby is reading, so most books that are set in bookshops would count for that. But you know, pottery, painting, skydiving, whatever hobby the book represents, the love that somebody has for a hobby. And then the last one is the love that people have for food. So I'm sure there's plenty of books out there. I'm trying to think of the one I read a few years ago. It's about a girl who was looking after her family, but she was also going to college at the same time. It was a gorgeous, like, maroon cover with just the girl on the front and then lots of different types of food around. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put a picture of it here, but that would certainly count for that. So, you know, it could just be somebody who loves cake, any types of food, a book that loves food. So there are your 5 prompts: family love, friend love, pet love, hobby love, and food love. So there are your 5. So I've put 5 books together. These aren't definitely ones that I'm reading. But I'm trying this year to read books that are off my shelf. Just as a little aside, I'm doing a lot of different ways of capturing what I read this year, because I love watching people's stats videos at the end of the year, and the only thing I get to gather stats are the Goodreads end of year kind of wrap up thing. So this year I'm retrying to use my book journal. So I tried it one year and couldn't do it, and then I gave up part way through, so I've started again with the bookshelf thing and then writing it down, how many pages, the author. For the first time I'm using Corpile, which is the spreadsheet from G's at Book Roast, but I'm not using the Corpile system where your characters, and I'm just putting my star rating between 1 and 5 because I just do that anyway. But I really want it for the spreadsheets that you can get at the end of how many pages you've read, the different types of books. So I'm doing that as well. And then I'm also doing, I've counted how many books I started the year on off my shelves downstairs. I started with 72 physical books on there, 6 audiobooks and 25 books on my Kindle. And so each book I read, I'm knocking it off that number. So now I'm down to 68 because I've read 4 off my shelves. I've read other ones besides, but they don't count. So there's lots of different ways that I am trying to list what I'm reading at the moment. I'm also, as well as doing the Respect Romantic Fiction readathon throughout the year and ticking prompts off there, 42 prompts, I'm also doing the Disney, there's like a Disney movie one. It's on, there's Goodreads and there's the other shelf one. the one where you can tick off readathons. I put Eurovision on there every time. Eurovisionathon, I can't remember it, I'll put it here again. I'm on there, and so I've got that Disney readathon on there, and I'm ticking off prompts, but there's like, I think there's like 180 prompts on there or something for the different Disney movies, and they're all the prompts are linked to different movies, so I've started doing that as well. So I've read 7 this year. So in saying that, that's the way that I'm counting up all my books. But yeah, so that was a little aside to say I'm trying to get books off my shelf. So I've picked 5 books off my shelf for this readathon. So these are the ones that I may be reading, but I will also try and think of ideas as we go through of different ones you could read. So for the family love one, I may read In My Mother's Footsteps by Mona Hajar Halabi, and it's a Palestinian refugee returns home, it says on the front. It says, when Mona moved from California to Ramallah to teach conflict resolution in a school for a year, she kept a journal. Within its pages, she wrote her impressions of her homeland, a place she had only experienced through her mother's memories. As she settled into her teaching role, getting to know her students and the challenges they faced living in a militarised, occupied town, Mona also embarked on a personal pilgrimage to find her mother's home in Jerusalem. Mona had dreamed of being guided by her mother down the old souks and the leafy streets of her neighbourhood, listening to the muezzins, call for prayer and the medley of church bells, but after 59 years of exile, it was Mona's mother who held her daughter's hand as they visited Jerusalem together, walking the narrow cobblestone alleys of the old city. Their roles were reversed. Mona had become her mama's legs and her memory and the one to tell her story going forward. In My Mother's Footsteps is a moving and heart-rending journey of a daughter discovering her roots and recovering her mother's beloved past. It's also an intimate and tender account of daily life for Palestinians as never seen before. So I've had this on my shelf for a while. It's obviously about a mother-daughter relationship, which fits in with the family prompt, and so that is a possibility for the family one. I did wonder, I've got the first in the Sisters series by Lucinda Riley. That's a series I've always wanted to read, but they're quite chunky books. I'm assuming that can be The Love of a Family, about sisters, because isn't it about a father and he splits off, the books are split off into the different sisters, and it's about money he leaves for each of them or something. I might have got that wrong, but I thought that's probably family love too. So I'm sure there are a lot of books out there that you can find that are related to family love, but this is a possibility for me. So the next one is about the love that you have in a friendship. Now I'm pretty sure that the book I will read for this, well, it's actually a reread. I loved the Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants series by Anne Brashares. And so if I can get that first one, I'm going to read that. And to be honest, in February, if I can get the whole series, I will probably reread the whole series. I think there's 4 books, but I'm pretty sure for the friendship one, that's the one I'm going to reach for. However, I also have this on my shelf, The Downhill Hiking Club by Dom Jolly. Dom Jolly is a comedian in the UK. Me and Andy went to see him at the Power Hall in Warrington. He did a talk not long after he'd come out of I'm a Celebrity, when he was in there with Stacey Solomon, you know, when they were doing that secret challenge and she threw a rock. She threw a rock to try and get his attention and it hit him in the face. He did a whole bit on that in there. So when he come round for the Power Hall again a few years ago, I tried to book again, but he cancelled it at the last minute and there was never any suggestion that he was going to do it again. I bought the book ready. You could buy the book and he was going to go and I wanted him to sign it. And so I was really disappointed when that happened. So this book has been on my shelf since then. But I figure this one's about the love you have of a friendship, because it's basically about him asking some friends to go on a bit of a pilgrimage in Lebanon, where he used to live. And I thought, those friends would only do that if they loved you. If they didn't love you, they wouldn't go on a big trek like this. So this is a possibility for that if I don't read the Anne Brashares books. So it says 3 men, 470 kilometres, 21 days. Welcome to the Downhill Hiking Club. At a boozy cricket-filled afternoon at Lord's, Dom Jolly convinces his 2 closest friends to agree to a challenging hike across Lebanon, from the Israeli border in the south along the spine of the country's mountain range, all the way to the Syrian border in the north. For Jolly, it is something of a homecoming, having grown up in Beirut. It was a happy childhood, though he did go to school with Osama bin Laden. Arriving in Lebanon full of excitement but with no walking experience, but taking the dog for the occasional stroll, Don, Chris and Harry don't quite know what they've got themselves into. The Downhill Hiking Club is a big-hearted, witty and affectionate love letter to Lebanon and its rich history, with a meditation on family and homeland at its heart. Written with Dom's trademark humour, it is a paean to both the simple joys of friendship and to growing old disgracefully. So again, a bit of a different one for friendship, but like I say, if you can, I mean, again, you could do found family for that. A lot of people say the friends are the family that they chose for themselves. So yeah, another one for family. Then for love of food, I haven't got a lot related to food on my shelves, but I thought this one could be classed as it's a bit of a loose one. But again, use these prompts as loose as you like. It's not meant to be a stressful readathon, it's just another way of me getting books off my shelves. So this one is The Cornish Cream Tea Wedding by Cressida McLaughlin. I love a cream tea, so that is definitely a love for food. So it says, wedding planner Ellie Moon is dreaming up the most beautiful bespoke wedding for Charlie and her fiance Daniel, owners of Cornwall's favourite cream tea bus. I would love to visit a cream tea bus. Even though her own life has been turned upside down and she's had to rent out her charming Cornish cottage with its climbing roses and lavender beds, Ellie is determined to give them a day to remember. Her new tenant, handsome mechanic Diego, keeps popping up around the picture postcard seaside village of Porthgollo. When they're thrown together in the effort to help his elderly father get a spring back in his step, she discovers that he is full of the surprises. Can romance bloom and give Ellie the fresh start that she's been wishing for? Yeah, it does seem like it's a romance, but I'm choosing it for the food side of things. But this may not be one that I go for if I can find another one that's specifically talking about the love for food. Because like, I like films like that, like Chef. Me and Andy loved that film Chef with Jon Favreau, where he runs his own food van, and just the way they talk about food is amazing. I remember watching, was it Toast with, what's the fella's, Bradley Cooper? I think he was in that. I remember going to the cinema years ago with my Cineworld pass to watch Toast. That was talking about his love for food. So I'd rather it be one that focuses on maybe a chef and their love for food, but this is a possibility if I can't get my hands on anything to do with that. Then for love of a pet, I'm thinking for things like this, you might do something around like Marley and Me is a good one because they obviously adore that pet. But for me, I found this one on my shelves that I got in the 3 for £6 at the Works, The Cozy Cat Society. It says 5 strangers meet at a cat sanctuary after each facing difficulties in their lives. Sasha, struggling with the heartbreak of her past, is trying to forge a new life out of a difficult childhood. Paul has worked hard to break free from a controlling relationship and is ready to find real love. Luke is searching for his biological parents, desperate to discover the answers about his life he so fiercely needs. Anna finds solace from her troubled mind in animal therapy. And lastly, there is Mim, the social butterfly who no one expects is hiding a secret pain, brought together by their love for cats. These very different people might just find friendship is in the last place any of them expected. Fans of Mike Gale and Claire Pooley will love this inspirational, warm-hearted novel. So this could also be friendship too, but I'm using it for the love of a pet. And then finally, for love of a hobby, I know I mentioned pottery before. I had that on my brain because I've had this one for ages. It's Throne by Sarah Cox. I think she was inspired for when she did the Pottery Showdown show that she used to, I don't know if she still does, I don't know if it's still going because I never watched it, but she was the host of a show where the people all made pottery, and so I thought I could get this one off my shelves. It says, the women of the Inventors Housing Estate keep themselves to themselves. The dilapidated community centre is no longer the beating heart of the estate that single mum Becky remembers from her childhood, but the new pottery class she's helped set up feels like it could be a fresh start, and not just for her. As Becky and her neighbours begin to come together to try out a new skill, unremarkable lumps of clay are hesitantly, lovingly transformed, and so too are their lives, moulding friendships, throwing relationships off centre and revealing concealed passions. Again, there just seems to be like there could be a romance in there, but I'm choosing it for the love of a hobby. So yes, I think I'm just going to have those 5 that I pick for February. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to the TBR. However, what I'm going to suggest is if you can think of other types of love outside of those 5 that aren't necessarily romantic, put them in the comments below, and then I will choose other books that relate to the suggestions other people have made. Because I did think there's the love of your country, because I thought I do Readathon every April and May time, so you could do love of a country, but I thought actually 5 is a nice number for this kind of readathon, especially in 2 weeks. But I did wonder whether to shove love of a country on there, so there's that. Oh, another one that I thought of for food isn't the one called Love and Gelato, so that could be cool. I do love an ice cream. So yeah, if you think of any other types of love that we could include in this as a prompt, put them in the comments below and I might try to read books based on that. Because I found for a while when I was setting TBRs, I might as well not have, because I wasn't reaching for the books that were there. But I've got to say, I put a TBR together of about, I want to say 8 books. I actually put the picture for January's. I was going to do a video, I didn't get around to it. I put the picture of the 8 books on Instagram. I've read 5 of those already. I think I went off-piste a little bit with it and read some in between. But I definitely read a few off that already, and so I've got 3 left. I thought I'd brought them up with me, but I haven't. I've got Dear Justice left by Nick Stone. I have got The Dinner Guest by, I think it's B.P. Walters. That's like a thriller book. And then I have got The Wild Silence, which is by Raina Wynn. God, my memory's terrible today. She wrote The Salt Path, and I really loved that book. That's a non-fiction about a real life story. And so she's done 2 other books since then, so I've got that one. So I've only got those 3 to read. I'm going to start Dear Justice today, so that has worked for me this time. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is set smaller TBRs, because it used to be I'd put 10 on there and never quite get through the 10, and then I'd get bored and try other things. So I'm going through my shelves trying to pick the ones that have been on there for a long time and work my way through. And at the minute I don't know what side of it's working for me, but it is. So yeah, let me know if you're taking part. Let me know what books you're picking for those 5 prompts: family, friends, pets, food and hobbies. I keep forgetting. Yeah, and if you go on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere, just hashtag Platonicathon. I'm not doing a separate page for it or anything. I'll just run it through my Twitter and my Instagram. I might do it next year. We might think of some new, we might pick other prompts that we like better this year, and then I'll put them on next year. Yeah, so let me know if you're joining in. Let me know what you're reading at the minute. Let me know if you've got any new prompts for this. Let me know what you're doing for Valentine's Day. If you're reading only romance books, great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to be reading a lot of romance books this year. I just wanted something a bit different for those first 2 weeks in February, 1st to the 14th. And I will see you next time.